American versus Dutch culture. Let's get into it. Actually, I think it's a bit ironic because a lot of Dutch culture does have American values. Americans just sometimes take it to a next level. We can start with capitalism, right? Modern capitalism was actually invented in the Netherlands. Obviously, Americans are much more extreme about it. They have much less safety networks. And that's not to say Dutch culture isn't capitalistically driven. This is a tax haven. And while employee taxes can be slightly high, business taxes and freelancing taxes are very reasonable or low, especially if you know what you're doing. Furthermore, I think the Dutch and Americans have opposite strategies when it comes to capitalism, right? The Dutch like to save and they're conservative with their investments, right? While the Americans are much more risk friendly, they're more go get. I mean, the goal is the same, more capital, but the ways to go about it are very different. Significantly different than American culture is infrastructure, and that includes physical infrastructure, but also healthcare and legal and whatnot, right? The Dutch strive for perfect infrastructure, right? This is even compared to their neighbors, including the Germans, the French, the Belgium, the English, right? Here, there aren't really potholes, and this is very noticeable compared to Germany and especially Belgium. Furthermore, the healthcare system, while it could be better, is significantly better than the American system. No one really goes into debt, and while it's not free, it is capped at around 150 euros a month. Of course, government can be bureaucratic, but it is a lot better than some other countries. Oftentimes, the tech and the software for government agencies are pretty efficient and even better than a lot of private companies in the state. This is banking apps, government websites, logins. It's a lot more efficient and easier. Let's get into Dutch versus American culture, right? Dutch are more direct, Americans more polite, beating around the bush, inheritance from the British times. Americans are also much bigger risk takers, right? Doing startups, new adventure, just overall more daring. The Dutch are, just doing more like do enough, but it's a loose guideline. It's not as extreme as Scandinavia. While there overall is a drive and desire for money, it's not nearly extreme as America. They won't kick someone down. They won't stomp on someone to get to the next layer, right? Or at least they'll do it with padded shoes compared to an American who would just run over the next person. I will say the Americans are more friendly, but the Dutch are not particularly unfriendly. For European standards, they're relatively friendly, just not as much as Americans. I would say here they're much more friendlier than the Germans and the Scandinavians and Eastern Europe. Probably more than the French. The British, I think, are more friendly. So I think that is the cutoff of comparison. Obviously, Americans are even friendlier than the British, but it is an acceptable level to me as an American. I think they're a level of friendliness, but obviously, don't expect Southern hospitality or even Northern hospitality in from America. Overall, it's a delicate balance between a collective mentality and an individualistic mentality because for European standards, this is more of an individualistic culture. And that's probably true for their standards, but Americans, I think, are even more individualistic, at least on a legal and economic standpoint. But culturally, yeah, culturally, I think Americans are more friendly and more sociable. Personally, I more or less like the delicate balance. Now, could it be better? Could some laws be better? Could there be less taxes here? Could there be maybe more benefits here? Maybe some things shift. Maybe some infrastructure I could see being better. But, in my head, one, yeah, I don't like paying the healthcare premiums, but they're much less than Americans, right? And while the public infrastructure right now is a bit not on time, at least they have that compared to America where you just have to fly everywhere. So I do have my complaints, employee taxes. Well, I run my own business, so I don't care as much, but I could definitely see why more employees could be annoyed about the high taxes wherever businesses can much more freely keep more of their income. Overall, I think I like the culture better than American culture. Now, that's not saying that there's isn't aspects of American culture that I really like. It doesn't mean I won't go back there. I won't do business there. That doesn't mean any of that. It just means on a more objective site from my standpoint, right? Anyway, if you're interested in moving to the Netherlands, click the link in the bio. We do visa coaching for those who wish to start their new life in the Netherlands if you're an American or Japanese citizen. See you later.